What's up, you guys? It's Shader Gamer here, back with another video game news video. I cover the latest video game news right here on this channel, so hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with that, or follow me if you watch me on a platform like Rumble or wherever you may be watching me. Links to my socials are in the description. So you guys, so up first, Valve is reportedly planning a Steam console to compete with PlayStation and Xbox. This don't surprise me at all because the Steam Deck was actually very successful, so of course, why not go ahead and make a Steam console? So this is from twistedvoxel.com, and it says this: Valve is planning to launch a Steam console in order to compete with PlayStation and Xbox based on a new rumor. Known insider and content creator, I don't know how to say that name, I'm sorry, has posted a new video on his YouTube channel in which he claimed that Valve is currently working on a Steam console to compete against the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles in the future. He mentioned that he received this information from a fellow YouTuber who specialized in handheld gaming PCs, which this don't surprise me at all because it looked like the shift is going towards the handheld market and all now. We've seen what the Nintendo Switch did, being the highest sold console of this past generation, and the Switch 2 is set to go ahead and do the same thing. So I could definitely see why they're looking to do that. And you already had the Steam Deck, so Steam Deck 2 to probably compete with the PlayStation, Xbox, and even the Switch 2. I could definitely see that. So going down the article, it says, according to the content creator source, Valve is contributing heavily in the development of drivers for the AMD 9070 GPU, which is set to be released for desktop PCs in the near future. It will be the very first graphic card to feature the manufacturer's new RDNA 4 architecture, as well as support for FSR4 image reconstruction technology. And then you go down the article, it says right here, it says, prior indications have also suggested that Valve is exploring the idea of bringing its ecosystem to the living room console space, and Eagle Eye enthusiasts had recently spotted a change in the deck kernel by a Valve employee who was testing HDMI CEC functionality for new hardware. So do not be surprised at all if you see the Steam Deck actually be like a hybrid between a home console and a handheld console. I can really see that because it makes sense. The Switch capitalized on it earlier and they continue going on with it with the Switch 2. I could definitely see Valve doing the same thing, and with Steam and all being such a big platform, why not take advantage of that? It makes sense to do it. Now, for the next article we have right here, this is from fireguns.net, and it says this: op-ed, Sony needs to remember their roots to overcome their live service slump. Yes, I'm gonna tell you this, when it comes to Sony and their live service situation with Concord and all like that, they've been fumbling the bag. They really do need to focus on what made Sony successful in the first place, which honestly, it was their platformers, their story games and all like that. You know, games like Ratchet & Clank, God of War, you have Horizon Zero Dawn that was successful in recent years, you have Jackson Deck, Sly Cooper, and all these other games that you could really look back to, because Sony did say themselves that they were looking back at their legacy IP, so it makes sense for them to go ahead and do that. But it says, it appears that at some point in 2020 or 2021, Sony bet the farm on live service games. Terrible idea. Like one of the games I've been talking about recently, the live service method is just not great for every situation, and it's a big cost, especially when it dies, like Concord, for example, which I'm sure they're gonna mention. And why wouldn't they? During this time, live service titles were doing incredible numbers. Fortnite was helping Epic Games make record profits, generating $5.8 billion in revenue alone. Call of Duty Warzone was attracting an eye-watering number of players. GTA Online was still going from strength to strength. It was a boom time for online gaming as the playing habits of an entire generation changed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Stay home, we were instructed, so everyone picked up a controller. Right, it made sense because now you have more time, so you had time to go ahead and invest into playing these free-to-play titles and all like that, these online games. It made sense for the time, but guess what? Long-lasting effect? Not really. That's why Astrobot is so important when it came to Sony success, because guess what? It showed them that yes, people want a single player experience that you can actually play, like a game where you pay full price for it, play it and all like that. People want that, and it'll be in Sony's best interest to learn from their roots and actually do that. Why they strayed away from it? Because they seen the success of live service games that everybody was having, like Epic Games and all like that. But the article goes on to say, Sony haven't historically been a company that chases market trends, which that is true, and they strayed away from that. But the lure of taking a piece of the live service pie was obviously too great for them. Jim Ryan, then Sony head, and there's a reason why he ain't the head of Sony no more, had a mandate: make more live service games. In 2022, they purchased Bungie, a company with live service gaming heritage, for $3.6 billion. They also greenlit live service spin-offs for many of their flagship series, including God of War, Horizon, and The Last of Us. The aim have 12 live service games launched by the end of 2025-2026. Terrible idea. Stick to what made it great. Y'all were great at y'all great at making, single player games, story player games, and all like that. I said story player games, but story mode games to where people can enjoy the game after they pay full price. They have fun playing and all like that. But I'm glad that this happened. They seen that, no, this is a failure. We got to focus on what made us great. And what made y'all great? Making games that, like platformers and all like I did, like the ones I named earlier. Focusing on games like Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, and all like that. You have a big catalog of games that y'all just ignore. And guess what? Y'all put yourselves in this situation. Now, after the situation with Concord, and if you look at all the other live service games that came out, like Knockout City, Spider-Man, and stuff like that. Well, not Spider-Man. Why I say Spider-Man? But Knockout City, Multiverses, and all like that. Then you can kind of see why they got to backpedal away from these live service games. So you go down and you go ahead and talk more about it. It says the issue with making good quality or even mediocre quality as Rocksteady, because Suicide Squad, another game that was live service game that failed. Live service games is that they take time. In the 4 to 5 years since Sony set out their plan to release 12 live service games before the end of 2025-2026 financial year, the market has shifted dramatically. You know why it shifted dramatically? Because guess what? The live service market is not what people thought it was going to be. Like I said, Astro Bot is a full price game, and look how successful it turned out. It makes sense to go ahead and stick to doing something like that. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, you had successful games like, Helldivers 2 and all, which they do talk about. It says, so here we are today in 2025, and Sony are all too familiar with the fickle nature of live service games. For every Helldivers 2, there are a dozen Concords. True, which I still believe was too harshly done by. Ever-growing heap of live service failures, those 12 live service games that Sony had planned to be launched by April 2026, yes, stop. Don't do it, especially with the, God of Wars and, The Last of Us that y'all trying to do. No, don't do that. It don't make sense. Like, I'm glad that they straying away from that, and it looks like we're headed towards a better era for that. And it goes on to say, it feels like now might be the perfect time for Sony to rediscover their roots. For many years, Sony was the home of the alternative, a haven for quirky, a sanctuary for shorter, small, single-player games with unique themes. Titles like The Puppeteer, Tokyo Jungle, Dead Nation, Flower, Heavily Sword, Journey, and so many other were the product of this environment. More than, like they had Crash Bandicoot, for example. It says more than a few, these became fan and critical favorites. Some were nominated for and won Game of the Year awards, like, once again, Astro Bot. So yes, Sony needed to go ahead and go back to their roots and focus on what made them great in the first place. But going on to the next piece of news, Nintendo Switch has sold on 150.86 million units, predicted for a full year shipments drop again. So guess what? Nintendo not done with the Nintendo Switch. They still gonna sell more units. They sold 150 million, which actually that put them at top 3 of the most sold consoles of all time, which I believe is behind the Nintendo DS and the PlayStation 2 being number 1. But the Nintendo Switch, original Switch now can go ahead and actually top both of those and be the highest sold system of all time. I can see that happening. But I guess we're going to see in due time. Like I said, the Nintendo Switch was very, very successful, and I am not surprised by this whatsoever. And that's why we got the Switch 2 coming out, and that system right there going to do numbers. I just hope that the Nintendo Switch is as powerful as the base PS5, but from what it sounds like it'll be on par with a PS4 Pro, which I hope that's not the case. But you guys, I do want y'all to comment down below and let me know what y'all think about these news articles right here. What is your thoughts? What's your opinion? I really want to hear your thoughts, because once again, Steam is planning on trying to compete with Sony and Xbox. Then you also have Sony reverting back to their roots, looking to go ahead and making single player games. They already say they were looking back to their legacy IPs, and then Nintendo Switch sold on 150 million units, which is crazy. But thank you guys for watching. I cover the latest gaming news right here on this channel. Oh, my bad, man. I gotta say, I like talking about gaming news, but I talk about gaming news right here on this channel. Subscribe, follow me on the platform you watch more. Links to my socials are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to y'all for watching. Shout out to the Shade Team as always, and I am out.